Can you hear me now? That's what happens. That's what happens when you go a little fast and you get a little ahead of yourself. So let me know if you can hear me now, Rhonda and Mark. So, all right, cool. Thank you. Yes, that's good. Let's start all over. No, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the speech that I have coming up this morning. And good morning to you, Rhonda. Thank you very much for that. And good morning, Mark. I'm hoping you are still on and able to hear. But what I'd like to do this morning is I would like to take a chapter out of the old playbook. So and it's all about helping to. It's more about practice than anything, but really, I also want to have you hear the story. So I may have read to you the opening part of my speech, which I'm going to read to you again. But if you would listen to it and tell me what you think, that would be great. Because then I'm going to take that speech, and this is the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes. But then I'm going to take that speech and I'm going to, just continue to work on it. And then I'll be able to deliver it in July to a large group down here in Columbus. Anyways, let's see. So there'll be an introduction of me, as the speaker for today. But then I will come on and I will say, what sets you apart? What makes you special? When I woke up on March 4th of 2011, I couldn't see. I stumbled on my way to the bathroom and flipped on the light switch. It was still dark. When I turned on the light in the bathroom, I could notice a sliver of light coming out of the bottom of my eyes. So the power was on. My face was swollen. And my eyes wouldn't open. I was blind. My wife heard the commotion and she came downstairs. There was a tone in her voice that I hope I'll never hear again. Brian, what happened? From the tone of her voice, she had a look on her face that I never wanted to see again. As soon as we were able to, Connie took me to the ER. After hours and hours of waiting and hours and test after test, the doctor came into my room. Mr. Wagner, your cavernous malformation has bled, and it's putting pressure on the nerves that control your vision. We're recommending you have brain surgery. Wait a minute. They told me never let someone operate on my brain stem. That's right. Unless there are no other options. The problem you're having is only going to become worse and more frequent. Worse and more frequent. Time out. So, from the time I was 10, I had issues with my brain. My hopes of being Bart Starr or Terry Bradshaw were dashed early on. After the third day of football camp, I blacked out. Since being diagnosed with this malformed blood vessel, a CAV-mal, in 1992, one thing every doctor ever always told me, and they agreed on, was don't let someone operate on your brainstem. The blood vessels were in a bad spot. At 10 years old, it's hard to have your dreams dashed so quickly. I remember going to my grandma's house. She asked how I was doing. So I started to tell her my sob story of, how I wasn't able to play football anymore. she gave me some sage grandma advice. She said, life is going to turn out differently than you plan. Always be open to reimagining your life. Find what makes you unique and use it. What's your earliest memory of who you wanted to be? Tell me about that in the comment box. Back to the emergency room. So here I was in the ER, worse and more frequent. I was blind, and it was only going to get worse. There's only one specialist that you need to see. He's in Phoenix. Are there times when there's just one person for you to turn to? Maybe it's a friend, a teacher, or a spouse. Those are the words that I heard for the next 27 days. The only thing that would drown them out was the sound of my oldest son's iPod shuffle. He had all the greatest hits, from Jimi Hendrix to the Beatles to Pink Floyd. Then I was flown to Phoenix, Arizona. And on April 1st, no fooling, I had brain surgery. There was all this buildup, and then, just in an instant, it was over. Actually, the same day that I had brain surgery, in the afternoon, I was walking the hall. Now, I did have a little curtain closure assistance from my brother. I mean, there's some things that nobody needs to see. Within 24 hours of having surgery, I was discharged from the hospital with a little bottle of extra strength Tylenol. In the moment, it seemed like forever. Looking back, it seemed to happen in the blink of an eye. Have you ever had something like that on the horizon and you're just full of anxiety? Then when it comes and goes, you wonder where it went? Obviously, my life turned out differently than I had planned. When something tragic happens in our lives, it's really easy to get stuck in our own little world. Woe is me. But there are encouragers all around. You see, I had a lot of encouragers as I was going through all of this. As I mentioned, I've been surrounded by current encouragers. When I returned from Phoenix, my wife encouraged me to go for walks. Now, I had no idea she wanted me to go down such treacherous terrain. There were ledges on the left and ledges on the right. And then there was those undulations. Undulations. Isn't that a fun word? That had to be dealt with. There were important things to consider that would change my perspective. If I went down that sidewalk the other way, everything changed. So think about how going down or looking at something different from a different perspective can change your point of view. And that's why it's important to have that different perspective. Now, one of the other encouragers was my daughter, Jess. And you've all heard about Jess. You've all seen so many pictures on Facebook about Jess and what a great young lady she's become. But there is in the letter, I'm not going to read the letter this morning, but the letter is one of those things that's changed my life. And hopefully it will continue to help to change other people's lives as well. So that's what I wanted to read you this morning. Don't want to go into the entire speech because it's like an hour and a half long. But we're going to continue to go into this, and hopefully tomorrow we'll read the letter, and then we'll go to the next phase or the next portion of the speech, and we'll have more good stuff coming from that. Is there anything that I can do for you right now, Mark, Rhonda, anybody else that's on out there? By the way, if you're listening, put in a hashtag live for listening in. And if you're listening on replay, put in a hashtag replay. That would be great. And then let us know where you're coming in from. That would be phenomenal as well. So, yeah, if there's ever anything that I can do for any of you, by all means, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. And just remember, as always, keep one eye on the road. Thanks for showing up today, guys. Take care. Bye. And I'll see you on the other side. See you.